What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got multiple different things here for you guys in this video, including, we'll start with this here first. President Biden ordered airstrikes in Syria on groups backed by Iran. The U.S. military conducted precision airstrikes in Syria against Iran-backed groups at President Biden's direction, the U.S. Central Command announced. Colonel Joe Buccuno, U.S. Central Command's communications director, said in a statement that strikes targeted, quote, infrastructure facilities in the city of Del Ezoro, located in eastern Syria, used by groups affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, saying, quote, today's strikes were necessary to protect and defend U.S. personnel. The United States took proportionate, deliberate action intended to limit the risk of escalation and minimize the risk of casualties. The strikes came days after Iran-backed groups fired rockets that landed in the vicinity of Syria's Green Village base that housed U.S. troops. None of the U.S. troops were harmed in that attack, but officials combined Joint Task Force operations said a separate rocket attack back on January 5th by Iran-backed groups damaged the base and a mosque nearby. They said, quote, the United States does not seek conflict, but will continue to take necessary measures to protect and defend our people. The U.S. first sent ground troops to Syria in 2015 to combat the terrorist organization ISIS and back the Syrian Democratic Forces. Iran has backed Syrian President Bashar Assad in the country's civil war, at times leading to fighting between Iranian proxy forces and the U.S. Still going on 6-7 years later now. The Wendy's E. coli outbreak is bigger than initially reported and affects multiple different lettuce. A multi-state E. coli outbreak that has been traced back to Wendy's is growing in scope. The CDC has reported 37 cases of food poisoning with the potential deadly bacteria on Friday, but the number is now said to be over 100 people and is still expected to rise as state authorities continue to track the infection. While the exact source of the outbreak hasn't officially been named by the authorities, the CDC investigation is focusing on romaine lettuce served on Wendy's burgers and sandwiches. Yikes. Served at Dave's Singles and Junior's cheeseburgers. The chain has stopped serving the questionable lettuce at some restaurants in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana, where the outbreak is active. Wow. Quote, while the CDC has not yet confirmed a specific food source as the outbreak, we are taking the precaution of removing the sandwich lettuce from the restaurants in that region. The lettuce we use in our salads is different and is not affected by this action. As a company, we are committed to upholding our high standards of food and safety and quality. President Biden has officially announced $10,000 in student loan debt cancellation and extended the payment pause for tens of millions of Americans, which will provide at least some much needed relief here for low and middle class Americans. Literally tens of millions of Americans. President Biden officially announced on Wednesday that his administration is forgiving up to $10,000 in federal student loan debt for borrowers making less than $125,000 annually and $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients, marking the largest debt forgiveness of loans per individual to date. President Biden also extended a payment pause or payment freeze on federal student loans and interest accrual going up starting on the August 31st deadline. That will now go until December 31st, basically until the end of the year. And said the pause is extended one final time, indicating that the January mark will be the end of the years long student loan payment freeze. The White House also said that if borrowers have undergraduate loans, they can recap repayment at 5% of their monthly income. Current students with loans are also eligible for this debt relief, and dependent students will be eligible for relief based on their parents' income. Biden shared the announcement here yesterday and said, quote, "In keeping with my campaign promise, my administration is announcing a plan to give working and middle-class families breathing room as they prepare to resume federal student loan payments in January 2023." Administration officials said the plan announced on Wednesday will benefit tens of millions of Americans. Officials said that if everyone who is eligible claims the relief, 43 million federal student loan borrowers will benefit, and 20 million borrowers will have their debt completely canceled. Quote, "This announcement will help people who by and large came from working families and are working class now," one official said. By targeting relief to borrowers with the highest economic needs, this plan helps narrow the racial wealth gap. This will really help a lot of people, millions of people with inflation, because they will have, well, for the people, what did it say? About 20 million people will have their student loans completely wiped out and won't have those payments anymore. And for a lot of people, for the other people, they'll have $10,000 less of student loan debt that they will have to pay. And and really, you just think about this. It just helps out millions of people. Okay, and I have long said that I think that we may see going forward here other types of debt relief potentially here in the future, like mortgage debt relief. We've actually seen the what is it called, the H homeowners association. It's striking me here now. There's a homeowners assistance fund as well that has $9.9 billion of money for homeowners as well. I have a link for you guys down below in the description of this video. There was rent assistance. A lot of the rent assistance is kind of gone. You can check the links down below in the description of this video as well. There might be some in the states available, depending on the state, but there was over $40 billion of rent assistance available. That basically from the last stimulus package, that they would pay your rent for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And I've had thousands of comments of people who have said, "Thank you, Jimmy, for telling me about these programs." The homeowners assistance, if you're low income homeowner, if you're behind on any rent from homeowners, I just had a comment, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I get these comments periodically, especially I got a lot of these from the renters. Of people saying, "Thank you, Jimmy, for telling me about these programs, because if I didn't know about these and how to apply for these, I would have never applied, because a lot of people just don't know about them." I've had thousands of these over the course of months, and just hey, these programs are out there. They're from the last stimulus program, and between the rent and the homeowners is over $50 billion. Okay, and these are programs that are available. Okay, so there's homeowners rent assistance, there's utility assistance as well, linked down below in the description. I'll link you to those here at the end, so you can click on them at this end of this, click on them on the screen as well. And utility assistance is available every year for people with low income. And so this is the type of money that's available. Um, and you look at, now there's student loan forgiveness. There's money for food assistance. There's all these different type of programs as well. So I'm really thankful, really happy for all the different people that get this type of assistance. And I also think that there could be more of this coming here as well. Will there be other types of debt forgiveness? Will there be credit card debt forgiveness? Will there be mortgage debt forgiveness? Will there be medical debt forgiveness? Will there be other types of debt forgiveness for people who didn't get the student loan debt forgiveness? Will we see that going forward here? So, people used to think that student loan debt forgiveness would never happen. People used to think that that was a fairy tale. People used to think that that was a joke. People used to think that student loan debt forgiveness that would never happen. That's a complete fairy tale. People used to say, "Yeah, right." That's like Honus Wagner, you finding a Honus Wagner baseball card or finding a Babe Ruth baseball card. Let me know if you know who Honus Wagner is. That's my dad knows. If you know, you know. But that's like finding the Holy Grail, right? And there used to be a joke, like, student loan forgiveness. And look, now it's happened, okay? Stimulus checks. Honestly, if you think about the concept of a stimulus check, the government just giving you a check, aka a free lunch. Um, that's something that never happened, and it has happened multiple times now. There were stimulus checks done by, I always forget if it was Obama or if it was Bush, but there was stimulus checks done in the past. I think it was 2001 and then 2008, and then now we've had three stimulus checks now, two by Trump and then one by Biden here in the third stimulus check package. So they have kind of shown here that recessions, one of the good way to come out of recessions is to provide people with help. And provide stimulus checks. And look at all these states providing stimulus checks. Now we have like over 20 different states providing stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax checks. New York State just did over $2 billion in property tax rebates. There's several states that have done property tax rebates as well for property homeowners. We have still like about half the states that are doing extra SNAP benefits as well. We really have a lot of different type of programs. So um, if you really just kind of look at this student loan forgiveness, it's really just kind of the next program to come out. In September, I think we're going to have a new food assistance program, a new SNAP benefit program coming out for um, low income people on food assistance on food stamps. I think that's going to be the next one to come out here in September. And again, that'll just be the next program to come out. There's really a lot of these different things. If you really, if you watch my show, the student loan thing it's gonna be a big national news thing. But a lot of these things don't make national news. If you really kind of need to watch my show to really see a lot of these things, a lot of people. My show's actually had about 180 million views, so it's actually we're pretty big. We're pretty big, believe it or not. If you think about 180 million views, that's a lot. That's a lot. But we're not like Channel 3 or Channel 5 or Channel 8 news that big, right? So a lot of these things don't get out. And like if you're like, say you were from like, let's think of a stimulus check like Maine. Maine had that big stimulus check of $850. Maine people knew about it, okay? But Maine people don't know about all the other checks. California people know about the California stimulus check, but California people don't know about all the other checks. And if you're from like Texas, doesn't have a stimulus check right now, they probably don't know about all the other states. But if you watch my show, you know about all these things. So yeah, that's kind of the good thing about watching my show is you know about all these things going on all around the country. I let you know about all these different programs. Some of them you might get, some of them you might not. I've had a lot. If you've been watching my channel, I've let you know about the rent assistance, the mortgage assistance, utility assistance. Hopefully you've applied. Maybe you've got some of them. God willing. Um, and that's why I'm trying to help out as many people as possible. If you have kids, I've told you about make sure you file a tax return so you get the child tax credits because you won't get them if you don't file a tax return. Even if you don't make any income at all, you still need to file a federal tax return to claim the child tax credits. You don't have to have any income at all to file a federal tax return to claim the child tax credits. You could have zero income, still file a federal tax return and get the child tax credits. Even the IRS says so. Okay, because they still owe you $1,500 to $1,800 for the child tax credits per child, and that's assuming that you got the monthly payments. If you didn't get the monthly payments, they owe you $3,000 to $3,600 per child. A lot of people miss out on that money because they simply don't file. So that's why I try to cover all these different things. I just did a video on Social Security with the payment schedule. A lot of people get confused about the new payments versus the old payments and who's on the new schedule versus the old schedule. A lot of people get confused on the double payments with the SSI and the try to cover the new details on the new bills with the new raises. Try to explain all that, but it's yeah, I can only explain it so many different ways, right? Um, and then really, it's just if you just really look at all these different things here, there's a lot of different programs. There's a lot of different programs. It's really, honestly, it's really good to see all these different states providing state stimulus checks. We have about half of them now. If we go back a year ago, we only had like a couple. I mean, maybe five. And I can't even remember which five there were, but I know that there was a couple last year. Um, but now to have 25 or more, and honestly, we're only in August here. We're probably going to have several more by the end of the year, especially because it's an election year. Or maybe it's just because they all have the stimulus money and they have surplus money. They're all bringing in a lot of money. No matter what the reason is, it's a good thing, right? Who really cares? It's good that people are getting money. So it's a good thing. It's a really good thing to see that coming from states because people can use money. Right? People can use money. People can use help. It helps people out. Rent, food, inflation, gas, whoever's fault it is, it doesn't matter, right? I don't care. Blame Biden, blame whoever you want. Who cares? Doesn't matter to me. Um, so it's a good thing to see that, and hopefully we see more of these federal programs as well. Whether they call them inflation relief, whether they call them stimulus, again, it doesn't matter. Let's just see what comes out, and I'll keep you up to date here with everything because hey, I'm your source. I'm your source for daily news. I'm your source for the truth. That's why I like to show you guys the stuff on the screen. If you ever notice, I show you stuff on the screen so you can read it, you can see it, and I'm not making this stuff up. And I try to be as neutral as possible. Um, and yeah, I'll keep you up to date here. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. I don't charge anything. And click the bell icon down below so you get notifications when we go live. And also, you can support our channel by simply hitting the thumbs up button. Just tells YouTube that you like our videos. And that's it. You can click here to see that new Social Security payment schedule and also the raises potentially coming out here for Social Security of $2,400 or more. And you can also click here to see my new video about the $10,000 coming from President Biden. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.